That's my that's my notifications. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think we are live now. Let me get this all set up, guys. Give me a second, get our pop-up chat out here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fennsomnia. You're up late at night. You got Fen on the brain, and this is your Fen addiction, and we've got your medication, and I'm your doctor tonight, and we're going to talk about some stuff. So I want to welcome you all to the non-PC beer drinking, thrill of the chase talking show. So just want to let everybody know tonight I'm drinking a brew called Fast House from 805 Brewery. I don't know if some of you are paying attention on the last Flip the Script with Corvette Ronnie and Lou Gallagher of Men Are So Smart, but I asked Ronnie what his beer of choice was, and he said he likes this 805 Brewery. So when I was up in Denver here with some friends and going up and seeing our grandparents up in Wyoming, I picked up some of this and sent an email to Ronnie and told him I got it. So it's a great beer. So I'm going to pour this, and hopefully all of you guys have your beverage of choice and are ready to sit back with Decall and I here for about an hour or so and just chat Fen. So cheers to all of you guys out there in FenTube land. Cheers.
Diet Coke. I stopped drinking Diet Coke for about
good stuff
7 weeks, and I really didn't notice a major difference in like any. I mean, I'm sure it's killing me, whatever it's doing, but I made it 7 weeks, and I was like, man, this is not that fun.
I just kill my liver. That's all I do with this. And this stuff is pretty potent. So if I have more than two, I'm hurting. But
well, I know a lot about alcoholics' liver. It's the same as fatty liver disease from carbohydrates. Almost exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I do drink a lot of water during the day, so I do flush my system out. I had a kidney stone like 5 years ago, and I do not wish that on anybody. It was pretty brutal. But that was because I wasn't drinking enough water, and I was drinking too much coffee and other stuff that I wasn't flushing my system out. So I've learned. I'm getting older. I got to do that. So I just want to say hi to a few people. I think it was Hooli that was actually the front running bitch tonight who got into the chat room first. So Hooli, you are the lead bitch tonight, apparently. Mike Nodine, how are you? Gallagher Entertainment, that's Lou. We got Jimmy Slow-Mo's in here. Silver Fox, I know who that is. I got to meet him out there at Fenbury. Good to see you in here. Davio 22, my brother from another mother. William, Evan Penn. So yeah, again, Fennsomnia, it's always late. We know it's the late show, we like to call it. You got Fen on the brain and can't sleep, so I want to welcome y'all. But tonight, we're really just going to talk a little bit about, Forrest Fenn Gets Mail 23. We want to chat about that. We've got a show coming up Tuesday centered around the Blaze, so we're going to promote that a little bit tonight and talk about that. And then also, for those you don't know, our good friend Decal Thomas actually got to go do a boots on the ground this last week. So if Decall wants to talk about that and share a little bit of his experience and some pictures and stuff, we'll give him the con and let him take over on that. So we'll get right into it. And I know a lot of you, I think, did you get a chance to watch Sasha's analysis on Forrest Gets Mail 23 she put out yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought that was pretty good. And I think she's on to something when she says that there's like some lead searcher type overtones in that email or this whole story. Are you getting that same vibe that some of this is pointing to the lead searcher?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to consider one of two things. Either this is a legitimate email, undoctored, that came from somebody named Donna and Johnny, right? Those are the two people I think are in it. I don't have it pulled up.
Yeah, it's Johnny and Donna.
Yeah. And so we have to consider, is this two legitimate people that put this email together and sent it to Forrest, and then Forrest, put in his little, 2 sentences there and sent it to Dale, and Dale posted on there. Now, the other part of that is it's completely doctored, and it's Forrest Fenn just putting this thing together to speak to the community. That's probably
that would make it interesting.
Because it's not, and I think you and I talked about this, it's not as though any one of us can send Forrest an email And then if Forrest was to go in there, doctor that email and change everything around, we would obviously know that he changed that. We'd like, well, why did you blatantly change that and put this in there? Are you trying to hint to something? You know, am I missing something here? So I think that
you see about 30% of the time you'll see the somebody claim the email and say, yeah, that was nice of Forrest to post it. But it's like 2/3 of the time we're not seeing anybody claim it, and we're just left wondering. Some never go. I mean, they almost are blatantly constructed by Fenn. You know, maybe 1 in 10 seem very constructed or very likely to be made by Fenn himself.
Yeah.
Almost sarcastic, like the names used.
Well, I mean, we've seen ones where even you know, weekly words and featured Q&As that Jenny's had on her site before, or Lagerta the Bold and Freya the Bolder, which somebody, I'm not going to mention their name, came out and said, well, that was me, you know, that did that. And it was obviously a well-known searcher that did that. Why did they put in that fake name and send it to Forrest? I don't know. I mean, there could be all kinds of different intent behind that. But I think that you're right, though. Generally, we get somebody that comes forward and says, oh, well, that was me. You know, there's a Bella that was out there that had a really interesting scrapbook a couple years back. And then that person all of a sudden showed up in the chat room, you know, on Dale's site. But I had never seen that name before. And again, I don't keep track of everybody, but it was never a prominent.
I think it's a she, and I'm friends with Bella now because of the keto diet.
Yeah.
So
it was an actual person. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, sure. But we don't know. I mean, we just assume either one of two things: that it's an actual couple, Jimmy or Donna and
Johnny and Donna.
Yeah. Or it's a completely fabricated, and we'll never know. I mean, what apparently everybody thinks there's 350,000 searchers out there. I don't necessarily agree with that number.
Yeah, but wasn't somebody?
But not all of them are on the chat rooms.
Yeah, but somebody was doing a legitimate estimate. Oh, it was a survey. Did you see that survey come out? And they were saying that the number's higher than 300,000.
It possibly could be. I don't know if that's
on the
I look at it as number of searchers or number of searches that have gone on. I mean, do we really think there's 350,000? Maybe 350,000 armchair searchers, you know, that have maybe gone boots on the ground one time, you know, because they could afford it, or that's what, you know, their time could afford, or whatever else, and then never ever went again, you know.
Well, you know, I have like my son-in-law. I mean, my son-in-laws and my daughters and my son, you know, they get tired of hearing about it. But like my son-in-law, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, this guy at work says that he's looking for the Fenn treasure. And then, so now he's kind of somewhat interested in following it. And I think there's room for 300,000. I used to be skeptical, but I am counting all the armchair searchers. You know, there's a lot of closet searchers, and there's a lot of come and go, haven't, you know, and quiet people, you know.
Yeah. Well, I got a question here from William that comes in the chat room, and he says, at the flip side, Forrest gets mail 23. They said they're in the wood, singular, and they're in the right spot. Your thoughts? And I think that William, there's going to be more people that bring things up. There's a lot of things that are, you know, key words probably in this email and hasn't Forrest admitted before that he parses a lot of these emails for keywords? You know, because he doesn't read most of the long emails, but he does parse them for keywords and phrases, I think. And maybe those are some of the key words, William, you know, wood, right spot, those types of things. But I think there's a lot of different words in there. Again, if this is a fabricated, you know, email that Forrest Fenn put together himself and then sent it to Dale doesn't know for sure, unless somebody, you know, named Donna and Johnny are admitting, hey, this is actually us, or somebody actually knows who these people are, or they're in the chat room tonight. Please come forward and tell us. But we have to either believe it's 100% accurate or it's fabricated by Forrest. So what are your thoughts on those words coming in that email?
I like to focus on what Forrest Fenn actually said. Let's assume that the letter's real and is exclusive content from Johnny and Donna. But what he says is Johnny and Donna were fortunate enough to experience something very rare in the Rockies. I have spent a lot of time there and have never been so lucky, but maybe next time, ... F.
Yeah.
Very rare in the Rockies. That sticks out to me. I mean, I'm different than you, Sean. I mean, I know you're a poem purist. You read everything. You pay attention to everything. You're looking at everything logically and sensibly. Uh, I wouldn't put much weight into this, but and the problem is, I like to think he's talking to me, but what the heck? We're all playing this game like we're the one, like we're the lead searcher. So why not? I mean, you got to have a little bit of.
Yeah, I mean, we can all look at this and we can all parse all kinds of stuff out of this and think that he's speaking directly to us, in one way or another. And I'm no different than anybody else. I mean, you and I had a discussion what I read into that, a little bit and definitely stood out to me. And let me see if I can pull it up here and I'll read it.
Well, I mean, Forrest just wrote me and he goes, Decall and Anna. He started the same sentence and maybe next time he said something like better luck next time. He said the exact same message to me.
Yeah.
Like 4 hours before this came out. So man, it kind of blows my mind how coincidental that is.
Sure.
But there's 100 other people in the chat room even that could say the same thing. Oh, I just wrote Forrest and I just told him about Wolverine or X-Men, or I just told him about Marvel Gaze. I just told him about the Wind Rivers, and now he's writing to me. So,
well, and that's where you have to sit back and go, okay, now this man, Forrest Fenn gets hundreds of emails a day.
Yeah.
He probably cannot read all of them. I'm sure he probably reads most of them, by parsing, looking for keywords or key people that he likes to read, whether they're close or not. There's probably certain people that he enjoys reading because they have interesting thoughts or they're cuckoo crazy out there or whatever. And he just gets a good chuckle out of it. Who knows?
Send pictures. If you send pictures, he will read your email. If you want a secret, that's one of them.
Yeah. Check this pic out, Forrest, and he's like, what am I going to get? But, so this man is reading all of our emails. He understands all the key things we're talking about. So he could write an email like this, and I'm not saying he did, and put in all these key words, and Decall could go, oh man, he's talking to me, or he said something that I had just mentioned. Oh God, he's talking to me, and 50 other people could probably say the same damn thing. So, I mean, he could write whatever he wants and do that. So,
we're doing a lot. We're busting in on your live show.
This is my wife. Everybody's coming in.
Hey,
saying hi.
Hi! Wow, wow, famous people in here.
Oh, you got me one, brother. Is this one mine? Oh no, this one's mine now. Yep.
What does it say?
It says 505. I don't know if you could read it, but
it's kind of shiny.
Yeah, it is way shiny.
What does that mean? What is 505?
505 for New Mexico.
Love you, Decall.
Hey, wow. Thank you. Keep drinking. I mean,
I got busted in.
You guys.
I don't know if you can read the hat. You can see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get one.
Yeah.
Trying to get one made for me.
Cool.
So
that's
it's
nice.
my friend's hat. His buddies make them. Cheers, ladies. What are you doing? You better not be doing shots. It's Fennsomnia. You guys never know what's going to happen here on the flip side.
You guys.
Bye, babe. Love you. Love you too. Cheers, folks.
Is she always that cheerful, or does the alcohol help a little?
My wife is awesome. Alcohol or not, my wife is.
Oh, that's great.
She's a blast.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, I've been trying to get one of these hats from my buddy. I need to get one that fits me right.
Yeah.
Anyway, what the heck were we talking about? What's the chat room? Chat room's probably busting up right now.
And right when we came online, I was getting some text from Christy K Pro, and I don't get it since she's been hanging out with Mike 24/7. Then she never talks to me anymore. It's like I'm like chopped liver.
Yeah, you're chopped liver now. She's got the real McCoy now.
And I've always enjoyed our friendship with K Pro.
Hi, Susie. I didn't see you jump in there. How you doing, dear?
We've been friends for a long time, and I was her first friend in the game, and it's been an interesting ride with all the friendships in this game. I was just thinking that today. You know, our lives will never be the same. All the friendships and weirdness and well, I mean, just traveling to Montana is something I never would have done ever. You know, it's got me out of my comfort zone and got me, you know, doing different things.
Yeah. And that's good. I mean, I think that's doing that for a lot of people. And I think that's probably some of the emails that Forrest Fenn loves the most.
Yeah.
And when he's quoted a lot of these emails, he always quotes those kind of things. He doesn't talk about those searchers that quote him and say, I know exactly. Well, he does. Those, you know, he kind of makes fun of those people that say, I know exactly where it is. And they don't find it and they come back and say it's a hoax or whatever, but they're still searching. Right. Yeah. But I think the emails he loves the most are kind of like these ones that he got from Johnny and Donna that they found something rare out there. They were out there. And if they hadn't been interested in the chase, like you're saying, they may never have gone there and had this. Well, I think she was like didn't she admit to being some kind of like a wildlife photographer or something like that? I think she had said in the email. I'm probably getting that completely wrong, but 3D Bronze, how are you? Flipside.
Wildlife biologist, research scientist.
Yeah. So she probably goes out a lot, but she may not have gone to this place because it was, you know, the area that they, you know, chose to go searching for the treasure, because that's where the poem, you know, led them, that they wouldn't have had this moment. So it is a moment of serendipity, kind of like Forrest and tripping over the grave marker, you know, in Yellowstone and Vietnam. He wouldn't have gone there if he hadn't had made that promise to that waterfall and that clearing to go visit that. So again, it's kind of like,
and that stemmed from getting his life saved.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like a renewed life, a new life.
Sure.
That's a good thing.
But so, yeah, I mean, I think he loves emails like this. So it really makes me believe that it's not a doctored email, that it really is a couple that put this thing out there. I can't prove that or not until somebody comes out and says it. It's just my belief.
It seems too interesting to be a coincidence.
But there's so many key words and phrases in there. And I'm no different than anybody else. Yeah, I'm the poem purist, but I still love reading these things and going down these rabbit holes, even though I know it's just my confirmation bias that's making me believe that he's talking to me, or Decall. You know, Decall believes he's talking to him, and everybody else in this chat room probably can pick a little piece out of there and go, well, you know, he's talking to me, or he's talking about my solve, or that confirms or gives me confidence in my solution, you know. And I'll pull one thing out of there that stood out to me. And I think everybody will understand what I'm talking about. And this comes at the very end of the email. And this is the last paragraph, and I'll read it. They said, we anticipate being able to go straight to the spot that we've had our eye on since last summer to search for indulgence. Unfortunately, foot travel became too dangerous, and we were forced to turn back after only getting a third of the way across the raging flow. And when he's talking about raging flow, it sounds like
water.
Yeah, we're talking about water. And you know my whole to cross or not to cross, you know, video, and talking about, is there a potential water crossing in the poem, you know, whether that's the path that you have to directly walk across, or if it's just, you know, what you have to cross in your interpretation of the poem. Doesn't mean you have to physically cross it. And I don't suggest that to anybody. But it's that to me, that stood out to me. And what really,
this is like a public service announcement. They did the right thing, or do you think it's the opposite? Like encouraging people to cross water. I mean, what's the message here?
Yeah. I mean, I think if this is supposed to be a public service announcement, I mean, again, my whole question to Forrest was, you know, in the guise of safety, do we have to cross, water to get from, you know, where we put our car to where we hid the treasure? He never really answered that.
Possibly, you've hinted at this before, but if we're not supposed to cross water, or we are supposed to cross water, that's a very good question, and he's not even addressing the issue. So. Or it's almost a hint of, you're going to have to cross some water. We don't know how much.
But be safe about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that these people got a third of the way across and decided to turn around because it was obviously a raging flow, and they realized they made the wise choice to turn around. We didn't need another Randy, another Eric, or
and
Paris,
what was that conversation about waders and stuff? And
Yes, William, he did say the chest isn't underwater. Absolutely.
Right. We know
that in the whole safety PSA that came out in August of 2017 or whatever. He did state that. But he didn't. And again, William, in that video that I said, he's never ruled out a water crossing. Every time he's even come around it, he's talked about, okay, the correct kind of waders to use if you're going to go in the water.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about having ones that are chest high, you know, so if you fall over, it doesn't fill up with water, which to me was a direct, you know, connection to what potentially we believe happened to Randy. He had waders, but he might have fell in the water and it filled up, and we don't know for sure. I'm not an investigator.
Even fishermen on the Madison River, there's bigger and more ferocious rivers than the Madison. Not too many though, but they're not out there in the middle of the flow. They're just, you know, approaching the sides. I mean, it's obvious that Forrest doesn't want us to do anything dangerous.
And king of rabbit holes, you're absolutely right. In water doesn't mean underwater. You're absolutely right. I mean, he said that he knows the treasure chest is wet. Now we can go into all that, but that's not the whole point of this. But one other thing I wanted to hit on, and this goes back to my whole philosophy about, you know, the 9 sentences could be the 9 clues, is that if we believe the first clue is begin at where warm waters halt, and me being a 9 sentences, 9 clues guy, I believe that whole sentence is the first clue. Begin at where warm waters halt and take it in the canyon down, not far, but too far to walk. First clue. The next clue, in my opinion, would be put in below the home of Brown. Then the third clue would be from there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek, just heavy loads and water high. Those would be the 3 clues. What I find very interesting about this whole, you know, we got a third of the way there, but turned around because of the raging flow, is that they were a third of the way. Were they a third of the way through the poem's clues? As in they were at the third clue and decided to turn around? They were a third of the way there, meaning to the treasure, or a third of the way across the river? I don't know, but they turned around because of the raging flow. So to me, you know, and that place that is no place for the meek could be that potential place where, you know, the water crossing, if there is one that you physically have to cross, or that is just in your interpretation of the path that leads you to the treasure, could be right there on that third clue, which would be from there, it's no place for the meek. So if they were a third of the way there and turned around because of the raging flow, they would have been right there at the place that is no place for the meek, which in my opinion, as a 9 clues, 9 sentences guy, would be the third clue. And they were a third of the way through. They were 3 clues in, had 6 more to go. That's, again, this is what I pick out because I'm a 9 clues, 9 sentences guy. I'm the poem purist, blah, blah, blah. That's the confirmation bias that wraps up in my mind. And
I like that. I like the. I would have never thought of taking that 1/3, 33%, and dividing that up by clues, dividing up hours in a day. I don't know what you would use that 1/3 for, but or distance, or literal distance from the parking spot to.
Well, I mean, I gotta look at it. If I'm in Johnny and Donna's shoes and I'm sitting there and I walk up to this river that they think that they have to cross, why am I going to walk a third of the way across it and then turn around? You know, I'm either going to make that decision right there, like, Donna, this is a bad idea. We're not going to do this. And we turn around right there and not even get our boots in there. Now, I'm not them. I wasn't there. I'm just saying that's the determination I'm going to make, that, you know, I'm not going to do it because the water level is too high and running too fast and blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm just not even going to try to attempt that.
Yeah.
So
I think they made a good decision. Yeah.
Yeah. They made the right decision, and we didn't have, you know, Jimmy and Donna, you know, another statistic in this chase, you know, and given this media to be able to call it, you know, the deadly Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. And there's this new video that came out this week. If I can find it here really quick, should have had it up here. Let's see if I can pull it up. I'm sure some of you probably already seen this, but it's by a big channel. Where is it? Oh, darn it. I should have had it up here already. No, there was another video that came out today. Here it is. $2 million Fenn treasure takes lives. And the channel is They Will Kill You. I don't know if I can post this in. Let's see if I can post it in the chat for everybody to find it here.
Dangerous hobbies, or what's the theme of this channel?
There it is. There, I put it in there if you guys want to go check it out or whatever later. Don't leave now. Or you can leave now. I don't care. We're just talking amongst ourselves. But anyways, I haven't watched the whole thing, but just the title of it, it's no different than what Toby did when they came out with that recent, January 2018 video about Deadly Treasure. And then Toby captured it and then rephrased it and put in there Deadly Treasure. And it's got like nearly 300,000 views or something because he put in there Deadly Treasure. It's all how you word things, and it's clickbait. Anyway, that's my rant for the evening, I guess, if you want to call it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the chat room. Mike Nodine says, because the water didn't look deep or fast near the bank, that has happened to me. Get out. Yeah, you're right, Mike. You get the bank is generally the shallowest, depending on how the curve of the river is. The curve of the river is coming from, one side or the other. Generally the flow on the other side will be deeper than the side that the curve of the river is not coming from, if you can make sense of that. That's what I've learned in my experience out there. But yeah, you're right. They could have gotten a third of the way through there, started getting deeper, and they just weren't going to go from there. Not seeing any other too many questions in there.
Yeah, thank goodness.
But I mean, it's, yeah, the thing that we've got to pay attention to is this could be a legitimate email that somebody just threw out there. And Forrest Fenn didn't doctor or do anything with it. And the other flip side of that is, yeah, it could be a completely doctored email, and Forrest Fenn is talking to the lead searcher or something. Who knows? If there really is a lead searcher out there. I mean,
what can we? I mean, if I was going to pick one idea from this letter, it'd probably be Wolverine.
Okay. Yeah.
What can we? I mean, what rabbit hole can we go down for Wolverine?
Well, I sent Sasha down a rabbit hole, and she didn't go all the way down. She like tipped her toe, no pun intended, in the rabbit hole and didn't really go down it. Yes, you're welcome, K-Pro. Didn't go all the way down the rabbit hole, and that was the one that it's an old '80s cult classic movie called Red Dawn. A lot of people like to call it the precursor to Dirty Dancing. It's got Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze in it. But Red Dawn was an '80s classic movie that was all about the America getting invaded and what these kids did. But it was taken place in a fictional town called Calumet, Colorado. And if you want a rabbit hole, look up the word Calumet, and you'll go down that rabbit hole. Calumet is another word for a peace pipe. We all know Forrest Fenn has one of the most famous peace pipes that are out there, right? But it was supposed to be centered. The movie Red Dawn was centered around a fictitious town called Calumet, Colorado, and there actually is a Calumet, Colorado.
Yeah.
But the town that they filmed it in was actually in Las Vegas, New Mexico. So that ought to get your ears pricked up there, Decall, right? And Mike's and everybody else. But yeah, so I mean, was he trying to say something out there, and giving somebody a shout out or something? We don't know. That was just a rabbit hole that I was looking at and just kind of laughing about,
Well, he said plenty of rabbit holes for me specifically. He said he'd want to come back as a welder. He said,
yeah, he did.
He said some very interesting thing, just what he's written me in person. That's very interesting, weird stuff. Even though I like Fenn's style. I'm not saying weird in a bad way at all. I really enjoyed going to his house, meeting him. I'm glad I didn't resist that idea. That was awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, do you got anything else you want to talk about? Scrapbook or Forrest Gets Mail 23? I mean, I think it's a cool story. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
I was just looking at Wikipedia Wolverine. Just
a natural predator is a wolf. I could go down a whole joke about that one.
Really? Well, it's interesting. And somebody was saying is that legitimate? The Wolverine comeback is probably legitimate, but somebody was saying that the sightings of Wolverine sightings are more common than this article, this 23 is stating. So kind of saying that this Wolverine idea is kind of like not true or a little bit made up. I don't know how to but if it's true that Wolverine sightings are more common, I don't know. Is it so? Is it really that rare of a very rare occurrence? And like Sasha was saying, what's the point of Fenn saying that maybe some other time or whatever.
Well, let's think about that. It may not. Okay, if you or I were to go out there and we're hiking in the woods and our search area, and we see that animal, would you know that it's a wolverine? I wouldn't. I wouldn't know. And I would look at it and go, "Holy shit, that's a bear." My heart rate would go up, or I would think it's a skunk, or I would think something else, or I probably wouldn't even see it at all.
Any of those varmints, you got skunks, you got minks and possums, and you got all kinds of
animals out there. Yeah,
and they have similar face. They got sharp teeth. And they got attitude and
but think about the person that took that picture. Think about the Donna and what she does for a living. Yeah. So she knew what it was.
Yeah.
She knew. So it may be a rare sighting for those people that know what a wolverine is, right? Yeah. But you and I, that's Joe Chucklehead looking for a 10-inch bronze box out in the middle of 50 million fucking square miles. We're gonna see that thing and we don't know what the hell it is. I mean, we may. We may go back and Google it and go, "Oh my God, it was a wolverine," and never think twice about it.
If I heard a wolverine, I would be booking it out of there because holy crap, them things got a major attitude. I hear.
Silver fox. It's nearly as rare as a believable solve. Yeah, very good point. Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we don't know how rare wolverines are out in the wild. I mean, again, they're probably a very shy, creature.
And what do you think about the Wind River Mountains? I've never thought that's a realistic, a good search area. Even though, like I was telling you, I went there in Boy Scouts many years ago, and I adore that place. I mean, that was probably the one high adventure that we took that I really loved. Like every minute of it. It was difficult. It was remote. It was rugged. And we were there for a little over a week, and it was tough. And we enjoyed the wildlife and the fishing. But I don't really get the feeling that Forrest Fenn is even.
And that's kind of what Huli was saying to you. She said at Decall, how can the sighting be common in the Wind River range if they haven't been present for over 100 years?
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. I'm just, somebody had repeated that if it's not that rare of a sighting, then why is Forrest Fenn saying it's very rare? And maybe to point to those words stick out like a sore thumb to me. Very rare in the Rockies. Yeah. What is that? Is there a hidden message there? What the heck does very rare in the Rockies mean?
Yeah.
Never.
I mean, again, this thing, we don't know if it's been doctored by Forrest or it's completely fabricated by Forrest. That's where we're just gonna go down. Here we are going down the rabbit holes together. You
gotta analyze what.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The first paragraph. I mean, he says something very rare. Experienced something very rare in the Rockies. Is that double meaning besides just a wolverine? So we're just questioning everything that Forrest.
But to answer your question about the Wind River range, I know there's a lot of people that like that area. There's a lot of connections that they find, within the book or, things outside of the book, and even things that they might be able to connect in the poem. I'm, as the poem purist, I do not feel led to that specific geographical region. I've never really given it much consideration because in my interpretation of just the 166 words in the poem, I don't see anything that points me to that area. Doesn't mean it's not there. It's just my interpretation. My interpretation is not confirmation of Forrest Fenn's intent. It's just not.
He barely mentions Wind River.
And I don't know, William, if they're nocturnal. I don't know if they are or not. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. But he barely mentions Wind River. And he really doesn't mention Colorado hardly at all. So I've never got the vibe that Wind River or Colorado is anything, or outside of Yellowstone, really.
Because he mentions Yellowstone, he has such a love for it. That's why I think that region in the north, in the Montana and the Wyoming area, is probably the most, and then New Mexico. I think Colorado is probably the least popular search area. In my opinion, and then New Mexico probably being number one, and then probably Wyoming being number 2, then 3 Montana, and 4 Colorado, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I mean, but basically, you and I are a perfect example of the two different philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul, or your heart and soul is the poem, and my
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think, you're right. Your heart and soul is mostly in the book and finding that special connection with Forrest Fenn's area, while mine is more kind of a pragmatic approach and really centered more on the poem, Decall. So yeah, we are. I hate to say that we're diabolically opposed, because I think that even so, you do pay attention to the poem. It's not like you go, well, fuck the poem and I'm just going to ignore it. You just, you feel, and you've said this to me many times, that you feel that there's got to be an emotional side to this, that place, again, it's special for a reason. And he's got to show that emotional connection throughout the book and throughout the poem. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I just have a different, more of a pragmatic approach to looking at it. It's just a different way of doing it. And we could both theoretically be led to the same location, just different routes. We're just going different ways of getting there. And no route is wrong until somebody is right, honestly. And even if 2 people are on the same path to that same exact location, yet they're using different methodologies, poem purity and every freaking thing in the book to get there, as long as somebody gets there, it really doesn't matter the route that you took. One may be fraught with more, rabbit holes, and one may be more direct. It's just a different way of doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think you and I think make a good team as far as, talking back and forth.
Yeah, you got to talk about both sides of it, really. The flip side. Have I told you your sign is awesome?
Thank you. It is awesome. I love it. So Iron says in here, fortunate enough to experience something very rare. So maybe he's hinting to the fortune being very rare. Are you talking about the fortune as in, obviously the treasure is very rare and only one person's going to find it? I don't know exactly what you're talking about there, Iron, but
they make boots out of Wolverines. No wonder they're so rare. That's funny.
Wolverine boots. Cheers. But I did really enjoy this one. It just, what I got to think in my mind, what I know the title is Forrest Gets Mail, so it's obviously an email he gets, so it's not a scrapbook. But I just wonder why some things are Forrest Gets Mail and some things are scrapbooks. What's the difference there? I don't know. Is it strictly because I think there's a lot of scrapbooks that have been emails that he's turned into scrapbooks, right?
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder.
I guess, the only one I can think of is the Diggin' Gypsy, two, famous conversations or whatever they were. They must have been emails, but they turned into a whole episode in the scrapbooks or whatever.
Yeah. And I saw Milan just posted in there. He was talking to Hooli and said credit to someone on Chase Chat. They noticed the letters in Wolverines. Yeah, I think there was something in there. Milan, and maybe you can post this or Hooli can post it in here and tell everybody what they're talking about. But I think somebody over at Chase Chat, I can't remember who it was, but they did anagram the word Wolverine. It came up to like we solve win or something like that. Or solve winner or something like that. But I'm not a big person on anagrams. I'm not saying, I think Forrest Fenn has kind of ruled them out, at least in my interpretation of his words. Sorry, anagram. I'm not knocking on you. But who knows? Doesn't mean that there can't be anagrams in the scrapbooks, right? That's fair game, I think.
That's probably solver win or win solver.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so let's transition a little bit. I know we said we were going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do Tuesday. Do you want to talk about what you did on your boots and ground trip, or you want to talk about Tuesday first? What do you want to do?
We'll tell them about Tuesday.
Okay. Okay. So unless you're living under a rock or whatever, we are planning a panel discussion on the 30th, this upcoming Tuesday at 7:00, centered around the blaze. And we're gonna change it up a little bit because I think that most everybody, when they talk about the blaze, they want to talk about what they think the blaze is or where they think the blaze is. There's not much discussion, in my opinion, about what the purpose of the blaze is. So what we're going to center this topic about is, what do we believe the purpose of the blaze is? Now, automatically, everybody's, probably a good majority of the search community would probably say, well, the blaze is meant to mark the treasure's location. And who's to say that is wrong? Definitely not this guy, because I can't prove whether or not I have found the blaze. But I want to discuss whether we really do think it is simply to mark the treasure's location, or is it to do something else? So that's going to be part of the discussion. And then the other half of the discussion will be, again, about the blaze, but do we need to find the blaze in order to find the treasure? Now, these two somewhat are synonymous with each other. And I know that this one about whether we need to find the blaze to find the treasure is going to be one that's probably going to light some fires, and, probably I'll get burned at the stake for bringing that up. But I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. And I want, if any of you guys have any kind of questions or comments, centered around what is the purpose of the blaze, or do we need to find the blaze in order to find the treasure, I highly suggest you can email me. My email's up here. That's SeanNM@hotmail.com. Send me your comments. Please put in there whether you want your name mentioned or anything in there if you do email me. That way I don't hurt anybody's feelings or throw you under the bus or something. But, I really want to talk about the fact that Forrest Fenn did say one time in one of the interviews that if a searcher was able to decipher the first few clues, they could find the treasure. It may not be easy, but it's definitely not impossible. I could walk right straight to it. So if you're a 9 clues, 9 sentences guy like me, the blaze does not fall within those first few clues. Now, if you're somebody that believes the clues exist between begin and cease, well, I would theoretically believe that your blaze, or what clue you think the blaze is, would not fall within those first few clues. So we're going to talk about why we think it may not be absolutely necessary for you to find the blaze in order to find the treasure. That may get some people burned at the stake, but we're going to talk about whatever. We have a great panel for you guys. Obviously, Decall and I will be there, but we're going to have Iron Will is going to be a guest on the show, and we're also having a lady that I met at Fennsomnia named Christy. It was a great opportunity to meet her at Fennsomnia and got to talking with her and her husband. And we're excited to have her on the show. It'll be a new face and some new ideas and some fresh thoughts. And we're excited to have her on the show as well. So that's going to be this Tuesday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And I think that's going to be a great show, and there'll be some good topics going on there. But again, if you have a question or a statement or anything as it relates to that, and you want us to read it and talk about it, you can email me, or you can email Decall. Decall, what's your email?
Decal Thomas @gmail.com.
So very simple, like he's got it written up here, Decal Thomas @gmail.com. If you want to email him, and give your question or comment, and then Decall can read those as well. Again, if you don't want your name mentioned, make that clear in the email so we don't throw you under the bus or something. So that's, I think it's going to be exciting. Is there anything you want to add to that to kind of entice people about that show?
I definitely have a lot of things to talk about the blaze. I wouldn't. Well, you and I are just pretty different on some of the ideas. We're not really going to disagree. I'm just going to have a totally different perspective. And the good thing about me is I can talk a little bit about my solve without getting boring or obsessive about my solve. It's just, I just think it's great to have an example of what I think is an acceptable blaze, and what do you do with the blaze, and how big is a blaze, or that sort of thing, and how permanent is the blaze, and why how can you make the blaze an emotional attachment to Fenn, or
good point.
How does it mean anything? Blaze, that's a strong and powerful word in the poem. It's got to mean something sort of strong and powerful. It's got to be of interest, anything, anything that stands out, he says.
Sure. And what we'll do is we'll go over a lot of the quotes that Forrest Fenn has said, centered around the blaze. Now, we may not hit all of them. We'll hit what I think are some of the key ones, and don't crucify us if we miss one that you think is key. Again, this is your opportunity. If you want to email us something you think is important, you can email Decall at decalthomas@gmail.com, or you can email me at seannm@hotmail.com, and we'll make sure to read those emails, long as they're not, over the top crazy and 5 pages long. Mike, be careful what you send me. But so yeah, I think it'll be an interesting discussion. We'll have a good time with that. Again, we'll go over a lot of the quotes, and then we'll I hate to use the word debate, but we'll kind of give our own analysis, Decall's, mine, Christie's, and Will's, Iron Will's, and we'll just go over that, and we're just going to go down the rabbit hole together on this and just talk about something different.
Wasn't there like a little well, there's been multiple surveys out there about what do you think the blaze is, or what is your blaze like, or kind of what does it consist of, or how big is it?
And it's not to say we're not going to talk about what our interpretation of what the blaze could be, because that's fine. But I think that's been, if you guys have not watched Shannon Oose's video on what is the blaze, go and watch it. It's a great video. Shannon does an amazing job of analysis. That'll get you kind of preemptive to the discussion we're going to talk about. But there's never really been an open discussion, at least on YouTube, about what is the purpose of the blaze and do we need to find it. And I think that's why we're going to do it a little bit different, but it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about what our interpretation of the blaze is and could be, that kind of stuff. It's all going to be blaze discussion. We'll just go down the rabbit hole.
Who else does some good commentary on certain ideas is Jenny Kyle, the one articles that she's written. She's probably done one on the blaze. Does anybody know? I mean, I can't remember it now. It's been so long since I was.
She's had on Mysterious Writings. She's put up some. She's kind of changed the forum up a little bit and made it a little bit more focused. But there's been a good discussion here recently about the blaze. And if you guys want to go over there and check out Mysterious Writings, it's on the first page there when you go into the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. But there's been a really good discussion back and forth on there about the blaze.
I was thinking, she does a couple of blog entries, one about Warm Waters Halt and one probably about the blaze. And they're really valid conversations, sort of like Shannon did, like a real analytical approach to what the blazes must be like.
Hey, Davio, if you go into YouTube and obviously you type in Forrest Fenn, and what came out this week, I think it's like one of the first ones that come up. But let me just see if I can read that title again for you, Davio. If I can find it. It's called, I'll highlight the title of it and then put it in chat. Hold on, Davio. Let me see if I can get this for you. And then everybody else can see this too. That's the title to the video, $2 million Fenn Treasure Takes Lives. And it's by a channel called They Will Kill You. And I think that they have like a lot of subscribers. So we might actually get a lot more. They've got 1.5 million subscribers on their channel. So we can expect, it's already got, it came out a day ago and it's already got nearly 6,000 views and almost 400 likes and 23 dislikes. We can probably, expect a new influx of, newbies, so to speak, in there asking the same brown trout questions. So we just don't know. So we'll see what comes of that, but go check it out. I haven't watched it fully yet, just because I haven't had the time yet. So we've talked about Forrest Gets Mail 23. We've talked about what we're going to do on Tuesday, and I hope to catch you guys Tuesday on that show. I'll put the countdown back up either tonight or tomorrow morning so you guys can hit the link and hit the bell if you haven't got it already, but there'll be a new countdown video for that so you guys can check it out. So Decall now, I had kind of spilled the beans and told everybody that you had done a boots on the ground this last week. You want to talk about that or?
And believe it or not, I did 2 boots on the ground this year. I was shocked early on. I was talking to my wife about it and she's like, yeah, let's go.
I can't believe that.
What the hell? You hate and she does. It's weird. Every spouse has their little things, and she hates it when I'm on YouTube. but somehow I talked her into it, and we planned it out, and we just went June 1st.
July 1st.
No, June 1st.
You went June 1st. Oh, okay.
I went June 1st, and I went July something. I guess July 16th or something.
Yeah.
And I had to talk in church like 3 weeks in a row after June 1st. So anyway, long story short, but she went with me. So let me see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a great time, and we did what we hoped to do. And I'll show you some pictures right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Does that look?
Hey, there you go. That's a good looking tundra.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the scenery. That's awesome out there.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. This is called Potamageton Park. Potamageton means Fenn. It means like Forrest Fenn, basically.
Oh, very cool.
Whatever the hell that name is. It just because in the background is this really marshy wetlands behind these trees here. My wife cutting up here. Where she's hilarious.
That's awesome.
She's an amazing person. I really can't complain about, usually all you guys out there, if your wife is complaining about stuff, she's probably right. Okay, just go with it, because you're not going to win this argument very often.
No.
Save it for a rainy day. This is basically it's me taking pictures, but in this background you could see these the change in tree colors and the way in the background.
Yep.
That's where my salamander is. It's a massive area. I measured it. It's like 2,800 feet across. So we're always saying my 800-foot salamander, but it's more like 800 yards.
Your salamander is growing.
Yeah, because I meant to say 800 yards, and I always say 800 foot. Here's the clown over here.
That's a great pic right there.
She's funny. We are so happy together. I mean, I wish I might be able to zoom in. I got my 45 in my bear spray.
There you go. Yeah.
And I hate the way this orange shirt looks on me, but it's just, I figure bears and hunters.
Now you look like that guy that broke into Forrest Fenn's compound.
I pretty much am.
Yeah.
I pretty much am him. Yeah. I am that guy.
Oh shit. Oh, I think we all tried to forget that.
Yeah, just goofing off. This is like a little clearing area. It was very wet, and because this is June 1st is still really wet, and there's a lot.
Look at that mountain behind you in the distance there.
Yeah, deep snow. This and it was beautiful weather. 70 degrees, 65 degrees.
Perfect. That raging creek right there. That is no place for the meat.
That's
right
like there. Almost year round. That thing's dry, but in the runoff season, it's definitely flowing.
Now, have you been there? You've been to this area before years ago. Was it as wet this year or compared to previous years? I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Well, there's a Beaver Creek weather station, and you can chart it day by day how many inches of snow. Yeah. And like I think this was recording 10 inches of snow. That's what 10 inches of snow looks like. Because obviously every inch of ground is not the same measurement.
Yep. Yeah.
But up in these trees on the side of the hill, it's 2 foot deep drifts in the shade. And it's a little, you can't find a treasure when there's that much snow.
Yeah, and what if it's under a pine tree? Like he said, I wanted to sit underneath a pine tree and let my bones go back to the dirt. Like, how in the hell are you going to find it if you got a 2 foot snowdrift there in June? I mean, this is June when you would think that, in that part of the Rocky Mountains that all the snow would be melted to a flatlander. They might think that, but.
And my way of thinking is if the wife agrees to it, just get in the car and go while she's still agreeing to it,
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely.
What do you got to lose? And we had a great time.
Good.
That's basically it. I kind of identified some areas on my salamander geoglyph with the GPS.
Yeah.
You have to preload your map, or if you're not in internet up there, so
Yeah.
you're not going to be. You have to preload your map before you ever.
Now, that's a hard lesson to learn. You know, once you're out there, boots on the ground, you're like, son of a bitch, it doesn't work out here.
Yeah, it doesn't work, and I have no idea exactly where I'm standing, but now this is like the area. Now here's a little idea here. All these flat areas. Like in order for these loggers to carve this salamander out of the side of the mountain, they have all these long lines, and they push all the tree stumps in. They chop all the trees down, they haul all the logs away, and then they bulldoze all these tree stumps into piles. And wherever they make those piles, then it makes a design, you know.
Yeah, so that's the lines and stuff that you see. Yeah,
and I don't know if it permanently scars the ground or why trees don't grow back there, or whatever happened. That's how they create this geoglyph. It's very interesting science, and I think it's a worthy candidate.
But you look at that terrain. Like go back to that one.
Yeah,
you look at that terrain, and that's the area that within a couple 100 feet of that area. I mean, just think of all the different logs you got to roll over and rocks you got to go knock on to make sure it's not a bronze one. I mean, for those of you that have never really been boots on the ground, and I highly doubt anybody in the chat room here hasn't been boots on the ground, but for those new searchers that have never been boots on the ground, it can be very overwhelming when you get in the area that you think that the blaze should be, or whatever, that, man, you're like, holy shit, I got to kick over every rock here.
Well, and you might as well. I mean, and how do you go with confidence? I mean, at least I have something. Some people wander around, they're still looking for a blaze. I've got a giant salamander, and I've got a floating hat. So I've got plenty of area to cover. That's why I've been there for years.
And Mike Nodine said in the chat room, he said, man, that is easy terrain. Well, I mean, an 80-year-old man had to trek it. Come on, Mike.
All right, here's some interesting Fenn style trivia, though. This is Trail 205 right here, and Trail 205 is literally the trail that Forrest Fenn was on the cover of Too Far to Walk. So actually, this is a slight offshoot, but basically we're right next to Trail 205.
Right.
That's on the cover of the book.
And that's the
this is the view. This is the field of stumps.
And you're talking about this view right here, the one that's in the top corner.
Top corner. Yeah. And it's I like the fact that other people are finally catching on that exactly where that photo was taken.
Yep.
I figured it out about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's I call this marvelous gaze, marvel gaze, and field of stumps. This is my field of stumps right here.
Okay.
And it's gorgeous. I found this piece of cable up there. That was interesting. But the cable is from the logging crews.
Sure.
Lots of cable gets abandoned, and old oil cans and oil filters, But that's about all you'll find up there, the traces of this is a bear
nice.
Track. It's decent size.
Yeah. What's that? Was that like an old tree over there on the left side?
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that. But the bear track, it's kind of cool.
Yep. Run into that guy. How do you know that wasn't a Wolverine?
Yeah, it could have been a massive Wolverine.
A massive, marvelous Wolverine.
Yeah, with an X on its back. Yeah.
Asshole.
This is that annoyed look you get. Right before the walk of shame.
Yeah. You got to walk back.
You're supposed to walk directly to the treasure, and there's not supposed to be any snow or no difficulty finding the treasure. Yep. It's just supposed to be here, right?
Yep. Exactly. I know what that's like.
Yeah. And maybe let's go to lunch now.
Yeah. Get me to the bar. Well, I guess your wife doesn't drink, but
I thought
that would be the look my wife would give me. Like, we could be having a beer right now. What are we doing out here?
Yeah. I thought it might be an interesting idea to leave a little marker.
Yeah, I mean, well, grab that thing and yank on it, and there's the treasure, right? I mean,
because it's symbolic. I mean, the cable came down and rescued Fenn.
Mike No Dine is asking. I guess this is about the bear print. He says, "What size boots? 9s or 16s makes a difference."
Yeah, I'm 9. Yeah, okay. Size 9. Yeah, this is the next morning. We went to that cafe that's right there at Beaver Creek.
Okay.
I forget what it's called, but everybody knows it's been around for 100 years. This place, I think. I don't know.
Cool. And you're having a Diet Coke at breakfast?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, you don't drink coffee, do you?
No.
No, the caffeine is out. Yep.
Yeah, it's caffeine is Diet Coke.
Yep.
Or water. Yep. But it's right there on the Madison River.
Oh, nice.
Really, it's an excellent food. Wanted to show the wife this place.
Oh, really yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Here's day 2.
You went back out there on day 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was even shorter this time because
yeah, that's a look right there.
Yeah, she's kind of annoyed. It's really steep. The last part is really steep.
Yeah.
And she's trying to catch up to me, but now it illustrates how deep the snow is up there in the shadows.
Yeah, in June. I mean, if Forrest Fenn is telling us to wait, till summer, and you're there in the summer. I mean, this is summertime, right? Well, no, June 20th is really the summer, right? When does summer begin?
Yeah, June 22nd is the longest day of the year.
Right.
But summer is still catching up. Winter doesn't just happen summer doesn't just happen on June 1st or even June 22nd.
Yeah.
Well, I think all the snow was gone by June 22nd. But I'm just documenting what I think I needed to be and how deep the snow still is and how it's impossible to scratch this off my list. It even started hailing and snowing a little bit.
Wow.
You can't really tell, but there's white spots all over the ground. But I mean, guys don't really care, but you bring your wife along and then now you got to care.
Oh, and you even got one on too. Look at that.
Yeah.
You couldn't find an orange one to match. You kind of look like one of those candy corns you get at like Halloween. You got the white top and you got the orange and you got the gray hair on top and everything. William was asking, he says, has Decall seen Tylo's, I guess that's his name, pictures that mimics the mountain range in his area that also the same picture in the Thrill of the Chase? I don't know who Tylo is.
I saw somebody, I think Cynthia pointed that out. Of a guy standing in the same spot as Forrest Fenn. And it was awesome. I wanted to contact the guy, and there's only a few people interested in that specific area or close.
Well, a lot of people are very interested in this area you're showing us right now. That's a fire hole, is it not?
Yeah, this is the Fire Hole River. Because after getting snowed on up on the hill, then we just decided to come to town, get some lunch, and go check out the Fire Hole Falls.
Yep. Did you get to stand on Skippy's Rock?
No. Is that over there?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like to go to that rock that's in the Thrill of the Chase, the one where Skippy holding a rock that's in the Thrill of the Chase. I think it's from the Long Ride Home chapter or something. But there's a lot of people that have gone to find where that rock is and taken pictures. It's pretty close to where you're at. I think it's actually on the backside of there. Yeah, it might even be like pretty close to where you're at, probably there. Anyway.
These buffalo, we got really lucky. We found a place to get around.
Tourists. Damn tourists.
Yeah, I mean, they will not. They won't even
move.
Well, the buffalo won't move, and the front guys in the line won't just inch forward.
Yeah.
They'll never go away if you don't inch forward, and so it gets really. We avoided the whole situation. We were going to go.
Oh, okay. William, I got you now. Tilo is the guy from Germany we met at the function at the junction. He posted on Harry's. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I can't remember his screen name. I should know it.
Well, was I'll have to look him up. But so what's the point about Tilo?
No, I think he was saying. I think William was saying that he had a picture very similar to that area. That's that you're talking about, where you can overview Trail 205. I think is what he's saying.
Yeah, on the cover of the book.
Yep.
It's very clear that you're in the right spot because there's like a hummingbird shape in the background.
Yep.
I don't know if that's what you guys are alluding to, but
I think that's what William's alluding to.
Yeah, there's another picture while they're on Trail 205 that's farther up the trail, and I'm able to put together a timeline of Forrest Fenn's movement on Trail 205. We know he came in Trail 205 in Red Canyon.
Yep.
He probably stayed at or near the cabin that's up in the mountains there. He probably stayed at one of those lakes up there the second night, and probably might have stayed or came all the way back to Beaver Creek cabin on the way out. I mean, I doubt he's being – it's not like I'm changing Forrest Fenn's story at all. I just think he wanted to seem a little more rugged than it might have actually been.
He wants this to be an adventure for people, and it has been. I think he's really accomplished that. And what is it? What was that picture? What geyser is that?
There's random. They're everywhere. Okay. And it just seemed like an easy place to pull over and park with all these stalled out buffalo and all these long lines of cars. We found one that we could just walk and check it out. Random, but
yeah.
We saw the Yellowstone Falls. The buffalo walked right next to us. It's getting long.
We had pizza.
Yeah, it was excellent.
There's the look.
Yeah.
My legs are killing me, and my wife is like, that was some great picks, man. Well, that's a nice one.
And then, it got greener the second trip. We're not going to waste much time. This is me and my son went back nice. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He and I, we're well acquainted with the area. Just some really beautiful.
Oh, see, it could be right down there in that little butt crack. I mean, Minotaur Marino would love that. That's butt crack rock right there. Come on.
Yeah.
Where are you, Justin?
My dad wanted me to try this witching tool, so took a video of it just so he would shut up about it.
He would know that you did it. That's a nice pack, too. Look at that pack.
Yeah, found out we stole that from the Boy Scouts.
Nice.
Off to take it back. I didn't realize it was.
Is that like a belly button meter? Like you're using you're the omniscient guru using your belly button to.
My dad had these the tip and the forehead is gold coin, and the belly thing is also has a gold coin in it. But
you know, M. Davis is going to tear you apart for this one.
No, it's like
what
I know. Well, it's hilarious. My dad bugs me every time. My dad is like, use the Witcher, you'll find the treasure immediately. So I'm like showing him that this thing is not giving me anything, and I'm like, if somebody's goes to all this effort to give it to you, then go ahead and try it. What have you got to lose?
Right.
And of course, I got nothing.
Your dignity.
I just lost it. I just lost my dignity. That's for damn sure.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
yeah, there's some beautiful spots. Oh my! Yeah. And these little plants all over the place.
Yeah.
It's awesome. This is that same clearing that was all wet, and I found a little blaze on a tree over there. I doubt you'll ever find that, but this is in the middle of nowhere, this blaze. I don't know what it could mean.
All right.
Maybe I'm giving away the treasure. Who knows? I don't know.
It could be right there. It could be right down at the bottom of that tree.
Here's my GPS verification that I'm in Salamander. Just some interesting bits.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's
nice.
I
like these flowers.
They're like Dale Neitzel now. That's what he does.
Yeah, Dale Neitzel Jr. Yeah. Look at this. Like, it's just fen marsh here.
That's the marsh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it could be anywhere in that freaking shit. Like, we should go back to that mountain. Where was that at? Go back there.
It
almost looks like an X. You almost got like a little right in the middle of it. There's like a
yeah, I see it.
Like a pit tension, almost.
I was I was just my phone has 50 times zoom, and I just wanted to see if it made any sense at all. A 50 times zoom from way across the valley, and it doesn't. It doesn't give you very good focus at all. You can't even hold still for it. There's this is the best food I could find in West Yellowstone.
Yeah,
this Mal Verde.
They got margaritas in there. Oh, look at that. A smothered burrito and got like shrimp and stuff. What are you eating there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be shrimp fajitas, but the burrito probably looked better than my shrimp fajitas. But they give you a real plate, and they're like, hand it back when you're done. You know, it's like, wow.
William just said Dow wouldn't be caught dead on a video running around in circles with a rod stuck to his head. I think you might have done worse than that, Will. I don't know.
Trust me, I do not care. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I got my own problems.
I got my own problems. Yeah.
I found this mug and it had my wife's name on it. So but then wait till you see the next half. Montana.
Montana. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see if she likes that joke or not.
Yeah.
It's you put the Anna in Montana.
It's mine. I thought Chris gave it to me. Say goodbye to hat, folks. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. Getting over the hour, so I got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, that was fun.
No, it was good, Ben. Thanks for sharing all that. That's awesome. It's good. I love seeing pictures. I mean, you need to put an email together and send it to Forrest.
Yeah, I sent him one.
Okay, good.
Well, and then as usual, 4 hours later we get or 8 hours later we get another Forrest Gets Mail or a scrapbook. Every time I write him, he does a scrapbook. It's pure coincidence, I'm sure.
He's totally fucking with you, Decall.
Yeah, he loves me.
He loves you, man.
He loves me, I guess. Just totally messing with my head.
Yep. Well, anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this up a little over an hour tonight, and I know it's late for a lot of you guys on the East Coast and stuff. Hopefully you guys are watching it for the first time, in the morning or whatever. Hope you're enjoying it. But again, just want to promote our show on Tuesday. We are going to do a show on Tuesday, 7 p.m. And it's going to be focused on the blaze. We're going to talk a little bit different about the blaze. We're going to be talking about what is the purpose of the blaze, and do you actually need to find it to find the treasure? So that's kind of the topic. It'll be Decall, myself, Christy, who is a new searcher to the Fenn2 community, and we also have Iron Will, who a lot of you guys know already from the forums and stuff, will be on the channel. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys there. And it's been a fun night tonight. So hope you guys had a good time. Any last words to call or?
All good. Facebook me, just Google Decall or whatever. You'll find me. I'm easy to find.
Sure. And again, if you guys have any questions or things or statements you want to make about the blaze and all that, you can email myself at seannm@hotmail.com, or you can email Decall at decallthomas@gmail.com. And again, if you don't want your name read, make that clear in the email, and we will read your email and answer your question live on the show. So again, guys, I don't like to ask whether, or ask you guys for a like at the beginning of the show. You guys know this. If you like this video, give it a like. If you don't, there's that other button as well. And we appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us tonight on a Thursday evening, late at night. Again, if you got Fenn on the brain, we are your cure. We are your medication for you. But it's been fun, been real, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Hi, guys. We'll see you.